Power doesn't ask. It takes. Not with permission. Not with patience. With precision. Look at the people who hold the reins today, the billionaires, the political titans, the tech giants. Do you really think they played by the rules? No. They rewrote them. They understood something most people never will. In a world built on appearances and controlled by perception, power goes to those who shape the narrative, not those who follow it. This isn't a fairy tale about justice. It's a field guide to influence, rooted in reality, stripped of sentiment. And it begins with one uncomfortable truth. Morality is a luxury. Strategy is a necessity. In this video, we'll explore the psychology of power through the lens of one of history's most misunderstood minds, Niccolò Machiavelli. You'll learn how to influence without authority, outsmart rivals before they move, appear virtuous without being vulnerable. This is not about becoming a tyrant. It's about understanding the battlefield you're already on. Because in a society where image is armor, the one who masters illusion commands reality. This is how to think like a ruler. Machiavelli wasn't evil. He was honest. Born in Renaissance Italy, a time of brutal power struggles and shifting alliances, he saw firsthand how fragile kingdoms could be. He didn't write from an ivory tower. He wrote from exile after losing everything. His book, The Prince, wasn't a manifesto for monsters. It was a mirror held up to power. His central insight? If you want to lead, you can't just understand people. You have to understand how they respond to power. That means embracing complexity. That means knowing that being good doesn't guarantee influence, but being strategic might. So let's start at the beginning. Power doesn't wait. It moves when others freeze. Moments of chaos are moments of opportunity. When the system shakes, people look for certainty. The Machiavellian leader doesn't panic. He positions. Boldness isn't recklessness, it's calculated risk. History rewards the decisive. When Rome fell into civil war, it wasn't the most moral man who emerged victorious. It was Octavian, the man who turned Caesar's legacy into a myth and seized the empire with a smile. Machiavelli called this virtue, not virtue as we think of it, but force of character. The ability to bend fortune with bold decisions. The lesson? Don't wait for power to be handed to you. Design your rise. But ambition alone is never enough. To hold power, you must control how you're seen. Perception isn't a side game. It is the game. Machiavelli wrote, "It is not necessary to be good, but it is necessary to appear good." Why? Because people don't respond to your intentions. They respond to your image. You can be generous in public and ruthless in private. What matters is the version of you they believe in. Appear strong, appear just, appear moral, even when your actions are pragmatic. This isn't deception. It's self-defense. Because transparency in power is vulnerability. And the world doesn't reward vulnerability. It exploits it. Let's go deeper. Fear and love are tools. Use them wisely. Everyone quotes the famous line, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But here's what they miss. Machiavelli wasn't glorifying terror. He was warning against weakness. Fear creates distance. It establishes respect. But it must be clean, sharp, controlled. Never humiliate. Never wound what you can't kill. Fear without control breeds rebellion. But respect, even fear-tinged respect, creates stability. And love? Love is a shield. People will defend what they feel connected to. But love fades. Fear lingers. The true leader balances both. You must be admired outwardly, and quietly feared where it matters. Now let's talk about your enemies. Because the higher you rise, the more of them you'll have. Rivals don't announce themselves. They wait. They smile. They gather strength in silence. A Machiavellian leader does not wait for betrayal. He anticipates it. He studies patterns. He watches for subtle shift. Step 1. Identify threats early. The disloyal advisor. The rising competitor. The ambitious ally. Step 2. Act. quietly if possible, loudly if necessary. Power requires preemption. Delay is danger. Take the example of Chancellor Bismarck of Prussia. He didn't just outmaneuver opponents. He anticipated them. He laid traps. He isolated threats before they became existential. That's not paranoia. That's precision. But maybe you're thinking, I don't want to play politics. I want to build something real. Exactly. That's why the next rule matters most. Don't just hold power. Institutionalize it. Too many leaders think power is personal, that their charisma, their brand, their presence is enough. But personal power dies when you do. Lasting influence is built on systems, on culture, on succession. Machiavelli saw this in ancient Rome. It wasn't the emperor alone who held power. It was the rituals, the military, the Senate, the myth of Rome itself. Build something that can survive without you. Train loyal successors. Establish principles that outlive your charisma. Create processes that protect your vision even when you're gone. That's not ego. That's legacy. And what about ethics? Machiavelli never said to abandon morality. He said to understand its limit. Because sometimes the most moral thing you can do is protect stability, even if the means are unsavory. He wrote, "A wise prince should appear to be religious, even if he is not." Why? Because people crave moral certainty. They want their leaders to reflect their values. So reflect them. But govern with clarity. Use principles not as chains, but as tools. Not to deceive, but to guide. The people don't need your full truth. They need order, purpose, direction. And that's what a leader provides. So let's bring it all together. To think like a Machiavellian ruler. Move when others hesitate. Shape how you're perceived. Strike only when the benefit is clear. Use fear carefully and never without purpose. Neutralize threats before they grow. Build systems, not just followers. Understand morality, but don't be limited by it. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about becoming capable. Because the world isn't governed by the nicest person in the room. It's governed by the one who understands the game. And now you do. So ask yourself, will you influence from the sidelines, or will you step into the arena? Because power waits for no one. And history only remembers those who take the lead. If you're still watching, you're not like most. You think deeper. You act sharper. You don't just want answers, you want leverage. Subscribe and join a growing circle of thinkers and strategists who refuse to be pawns. The game has already started, and it favors the prepared. Look at the people who hold the reins today, the billionaires, the political titans, the tech giants. Do you really think they played by the rules?